Getting that great job, becoming incredibly fit, building real wealth, we're always told these things are just unbelievably hard. Like, you have to be a genius, or super lucky, or maybe both. But what if the biggest thing standing in your way isn't the world at all, but your own approach? Okay, let's get into this.
I mean, we've all heard advice like this, right? It sounds so simple, so nice. But then you try to actually find a job, and it feels like you're just screaming into the void of what everyone is calling a cooked job market. The internet is just overflowing with conflicting advice, stories that give you anxiety, and this general feeling that everything is totally impossible. It's really no wonder so many of us are completely burnt out.
So if you're feeling totally overwhelmed by all this, you are definitely not alone. And honestly, it's not entirely your fault. The source material for this explainer actually has a name for this feeling. It's called unemployed internet theory. The whole idea is that the people who are succeeding, the ones with the jobs, the ones who are fit, who are building wealth, they're just too busy actually doing it to post online all day. So what happens? Your social media feed becomes this biased echo chamber of negativity, and it's created by the very people who are struggling the most.
And this, right here, brings us to the core idea we're going to unpack today, a really powerful kind of counterintuitive philosophy. Getting what you want is, in a lot of ways, easy actually. The hard part isn't doing the thing, it's fixing the complicated negative story you're telling yourself before you even start. The real work is all internal.
Okay, so here's the game plan. We're going to take all the advice on jobs, fitness, and finance from our source material and pull it together into one powerful mental model. We're going to look at the self-fulfilling prophecy, the battle against what the source calls slop, the mind-blowing power of the exponential function, and then finally, a simple four-step process you can apply to pretty much anything. All right, let's kick things off with the absolute foundation. Before you apply for a single job, lift a single weight, or invest $1, your internal belief system is already setting you up for success or for failure, because your assumptions can literally become your reality. So, a self-fulfilling prophecy is basically when your prediction about something causes that exact thing to happen. Okay, think about it like this, the job search. If you truly believe the market is cooked and it's impossible to get hired, what are you going to do? You're going to put in less effort. You'll stop applying because you figure, why bother? I'll just get rejected. Well, that lack of effort makes you way less likely to get hired, which then just proves your original belief was right all along. It's a really vicious cycle.
And you can see how this splits into two completely different paths right here. On the left, you've got that negative feedback loop we were just talking about. But check out the right side. That's the positive one. If you just assume, you know what, I can get a job if I just try, your brain immediately starts looking for solutions instead of excuses. You apply more, you put in more effort, and bam, your chances of success just skyrocket. The main thing that decides your outcome is what you believe is possible in the first place.
But here's the wild thing about that negative belief about the job market. Well, turns out it's pretty much a myth. According to the source material, the U.S. unemployment rate is only around 4.2%. That means for every 100 people out there who can work, nearly 96 of them are working. The story you hear online just doesn't line up with reality. So the most important point here is this: assume you will win as long as you're willing to try.
Let's move on to our second big idea and see how this all connects. So, once you've got your mindset right, the very next step is to actively reject all the needless complexity and just choose simple, effective tools that actually work.
The source we're looking at has this awesome name for all this junk: slop. And the main example they use is protein slop. Think about those protein bars and cereals that taste exactly like a candy bar, all wrapped up in shiny packages that are screaming health food at you. They're marketed as the perfect solution, right? But really, they're highly processed, designed to be addictive, and they completely sabotage your diet. They are the complicated, ineffective distraction. And this whole slop thing, it's not just about food. It is literally everywhere. You see resume slop, those super fancy templates that recruiters just ignore. Investment slop, day trading or buying these complex, high-fee funds instead of a simple, low-cost index fund. There's even productivity slop. You know those over-engineered AI tools you spend hours setting up and then never ever use again? The simple path is almost always the most effective one.
Okay, so you've got a positive mindset, and you've picked a simple plan. Now for the third piece of the puzzle, understanding the engine that drives all long-term success. It's a mathematical concept that, honestly, most of our brains just can't wrap our heads around: the exponential function.
See, as humans, we're just wired to think in straight lines. We think linearly. We assume if we put in a little bit of effort today, we get a little bit of a result tomorrow. But that's not how the world really works. Small, consistent actions,
They compound over time, and they lead to these massive, explosive outcomes that are just really hard for our linear brains to even predict.
And to make this super real, just look at this example from the source. $1 of credit card debt growing at 2% a day? It doesn't seem like a big deal. But after 30 days, then 60 days, and especially after 5 years, the growth is absolutely terrifying. This is the exponential curve in action. And it works against you with procrastination, too. That small task you put off can grow into this huge, overwhelming problem.
But, and this is the really cool part, this exact same mathematical force is what builds all great things. Investing a small amount, consistently, in a low-cost index fund. Doing your workout every single day. Applying to just one job every morning. These small, simple actions, when you just keep repeating them, ride that same powerful curve upward, and they create results that seem completely impossible from where you started.
Okay, so let's tie all this together. We have the mindset, we're rejecting complexity, and we understand the mechanism. So how do we actually turn this philosophy into a repeatable process?
It really just boils down to this simple 4-step loop. Number 1, assume you will win. That's your self-fulfilling prophecy. 2, choose a simple plan. That's you rejecting the slop. And then 3, execute consistently. And 4, be patient. Those last 2 steps, that's how you harness the power of that exponential function. You just repeat this simple action day after day, and you trust the process.
So what does a simple plan actually look like in practice? Well, for jobs, it's a boring one-page resume and applying every single day. For fitness, it's eating high-volume, filling foods like fruits and veggies and tracking what you eat. For investing, it's putting your money in low-cost total market index funds and then just leaving it alone. And for life in general, it's about doing more things to figure out what you like and taking care of your future self. Notice a pattern here? None of these are complicated. It's all about consistency, not complexity.
So I guess I'll just leave you with this one question. What's one truly important goal in your life right now that you have made way more complicated than it needs to be? Maybe the first step isn't some fancier tool or a more complex strategy. Maybe it's just deciding to believe that you can win, and then taking the simplest first step you can today.